The Apache chief had spent years preparing his daughter to marry the bravest warrior in the tribe. But on the day of the sacred choosing ceremony, she walked past every warrior and stopped in front of a lonely cowboy no one had invited. The entire camp fell silent. What happened in the next few minutes would forever change the fate of the tribe, the cowboy, and everyone who witnessed that unforgettable moment. The first light of morning stretched across the wide Arizona frontier, painting the mountains in shades of gold and amber. Smoke rose gently from the Apache village as families prepared for a day that would be remembered for generations. Men gathered near the council fire, women finished the last preparations for the ceremony, and children whispered with excitement as they watched the village come alive. For many years, Chief Dakota had guided his people with wisdom and quiet strength. He believed that every tradition carried the voice of those who came before them. Among all their customs, none was more important than the choosing ceremony, when his only daughter would select the man who would stand beside her for the rest of her life. Warriors had traveled from distant camps to be there. Each hoped to earn the honor of becoming the chief's son-in-law. Some were known for their skill with horses. Others had earned respect through courage in battle. Every man believed he had a chance. But none of them truly understood what was in Ayana's heart. Unlike many in the village, Ayana believed that the strongest person was not always the one who carried the sharpest weapon. She admired honesty, kindness, and the willingness to protect those who could not protect themselves. Those qualities were far more valuable than fame or strength alone. Nearly 6 months earlier, while gathering herbs beyond the hills, she had witnessed something that no one else in the tribe knew. A frightened Apache boy had wandered too far from home after chasing a wild horse. As the sun began to set, the child became lost among the rocky trails. Before panic could take hold, a lone cowboy riding a weathered bay horse found the boy sitting beneath a tree. The cowboy spoke softly, offering the child fresh water and a piece of bread before helping him climb onto the saddle. He asked no questions and demanded nothing in return. When he reached the edge of Apache land, he stopped and allowed the boy to run safely back toward his people. Hidden among the trees, Ayana watched every moment. She expected the stranger to ask for a reward or boast about what he had done. Instead, he simply turned his horse and rode back toward his small ranch without looking behind him. From that day forward, she quietly learned more about the man. His name was Ethan. He lived alone in a simple cabin beside a quiet stream. His ranch was small, and his life was far from easy. He repaired his own fences, cared for injured animals, and often shared food with travelers who had nothing left to eat. More than once, Ayana heard nearby settlers speak of the quiet cowboy who never refused to help a stranger, even when he had little for himself. Ethan never knew that anyone was watching. Now the day of the choosing ceremony had finally arrived. The entire village gathered around the open clearing as drums echoed through the cool mountain air. One by one, the warriors stepped forward wearing their finest clothing, each standing proudly before the chief. Chief Dakota smiled with confidence. He believed his daughter would choose one of these respected men. Ayana slowly walked into the center of the circle. Every eye followed her. She passed the first warrior without stopping. Then the second. Then the third. The silence grew heavier with every step. Finally, she reached the edge of the gathering where a quiet cowboy stood beside his horse, uncertain why he had even been invited. Without a single word, Ayana stopped in front of Ethan. The entire village froze. For several long moments, no one spoke. The only sound came from the crackling council fire and the distant call of an eagle circling above the valley. Every face in the gathering was fixed on Ayana and the quiet cowboy standing before her. Chief Dakota slowly rose from his seat. His expression was calm, but his eyes revealed disbelief. Never in the history of the tribe had the daughter of a chief chosen an outsider to become her husband. His voice carried across the silent village. "Ayana, do you understand the choice you have made?" She lifted her head without fear. "I do, father." The chief looked toward Ethan. "You are not one of our people. You were not invited here to stand among these warriors. Why are you here?" Ethan removed his hat and held it against his chest. "I came because one of your elders asked me to deliver supplies before the ceremony. I never expected to be part of this gathering. I meant no disrespect." His honest answer surprised several elders, but many of the younger warriors remained angry. One stepped forward and pointed toward Ethan. He is a stranger. He knows nothing of our customs. He does not deserve this honor." Another added, "A warrior spends his life proving himself. This cowboy has done nothing for our tribe." Before anyone else could speak, Ayanna stepped between Ethan and the warriors. "You are wrong." Every eye turned toward her. "I have watched this man for many months. He did not know anyone was watching. I saw him return a lost Apache child safely to our land without asking for a reward. I saw him share food with hungry travelers when his own supplies were low. I saw him help an old widow repair her broken fence while others rode past without stopping." She paused and looked at the circle of warriors. Kindness shown when no one is watching reveals the true heart of a person. The words settled over the gathering like a quiet wind. Some of the elders lowered their eyes in thought. Chief Takoda studied his daughter carefully. He knew she never spoke without purpose, but accepting her choice would challenge a tradition that had guided the tribe for generations. Finally, he faced Ethan once more. "If you truly respect my people, answer one question." Ethan nodded. "If my daughter chose to remain with her tribe instead of leaving with you, what would you do?" Without hesitation, Ethan answered, "I would honor her choice. Love cannot be forced, and respect means placing another person's happiness before your own." The village fell silent once again. Even the loudest critics had expected a different answer. Chief Takoda looked across the gathering before raising his hand. "The ceremony is not finished," he declared. "My decision will come at sunrise. Until then, no one will speak another word about this matter." As the people slowly drifted away, many believed the night would change nothing. None of them knew that before dawn, fate would place every heart in the village to its greatest test. Dark clouds rolled across the mountains as the last light of day disappeared. A cold wind swept through the village, bending the tall pines and carrying the scent of rain. Families hurried into their lodges while horses grew restless, sensing the coming storm. Chief Takoda remained awake beside the council fire, thinking about his daughter's choice. Across the village, Ethan quietly prepared to leave before sunrise. He believed it was better to walk away than become the cause of conflict. Then a frightened cry shattered the night. Several children had wandered beyond the edge of the village while searching for two frightened horses that had broken free during the storm. Heavy rain had turned the narrow trail into slippery mud, and the children were trapped near a steep cliff where rushing water blocked their way home. Without waiting for orders, Ethan saddled his horse and rode into the darkness. The rain struck his face as he followed the fresh tracks through the forest. Branches snapped beneath the powerful wind, and every step carried new danger. At last, he found the children huddled together beneath a rocky ledge, terrified and unable to cross the flooded path. Ethan lifted the youngest child onto his horse and guided the others beside him. One by one, he led them across the rushing water, shielding them from the current with his own body. His horse stumbled more than once, but Ethan never let go of a single child. By the time they reached the village, his clothes were soaked, his hands were cut, and he could barely remain standing. The children rushed into their family's arms, safe at last. As Ethan quietly stepped away from the crowd, he asked only one question. "Is everyone home?" For the first time that night, the warriors looked at the cowboy with something they had never shown him before: respect. As the first rays of sunlight touched the valley, Chief Takoda called the entire tribe together. The rescued children spoke with grateful hearts, telling everyone how Ethan had risked his own life to bring them home. The chief listened without interrupting. When the last child finished, he stepped toward Ethan and placed a hand on his shoulder. "I judged you by where you came from instead of the man you are," the chief said. "A warrior protects others before himself. Last night, you proved that courage belongs to every honorable heart." Then he turned to Ayanna and smiled. "Today, you have my blessing." The village filled with joy as families gathered to celebrate a wedding unlike any they had ever seen. Apache elders stood beside ranchers from nearby settlements, sharing food, stories, and laughter around a warm fire. What had begun with doubt had become a day of unity. Ethan and Ayanna exchanged their promises beneath the open sky, pledging to build a life founded on trust, respect, and kindness. Chief Takoda watched with quiet pride, knowing his daughter had chosen not only a good husband but also a man of true character. In the years that followed, Ethan and Ayanna welcomed anyone who came to their home in peace. Travelers, neighbors, and members of the tribe always found an open door and a warm meal waiting for them. Their story spread across the frontier, reminding people that courage, compassion, and respect can unite hearts where fear once built walls. Thank you for joining us on this unforgettable journey across the Old West, where one courageous choice proved that kindness and honor are stronger than fear and tradition. Ethan earned the respect of an entire tribe not through force, but through compassion, humility, and the courage to do what was right. If this story touched your heart, please click like and subscribe for more original Western frontier stories filled with courage, hope, unexpected friendships, and unforgettable moments. Share this video with someone who believes that true character is revealed through actions, not words. And tell us in the comments, do you believe kindness has the power to overcome even the deepest differences between people? We would love to hear your thoughts. Until next time, thank you for watching, and may your path always be guided by courage, wisdom, and compassion.